Our channel is focused 100% on stories like this. It's giving you valuable information that the media hides from you. Please, so you don't miss videos like this, subscribe to the channel and leave your like. It really helps our work. Abraham Lincoln is remembered as the president who freed the slaves, who preserved the Union, and who guided the nation through its darkest civil war. But the official story of his assassination is simple, almost too simple. John Wilkes Booth, a lone actor with Southern sympathies, slipped into a theater box and shot the president. He was hunted down and killed. Case closed. But what if I told you that the truth is far more complicated? What if Lincoln's death was not the act of one man, but the execution of a carefully orchestrated plan by powerful forces who feared what he represented? To understand the secret behind Lincoln's assassination, we must go back to the years leading up to 1865. The Civil War was not just about slavery. It was about money, power, and the future direction of the United States. Lincoln challenged the most powerful groups of his era: bankers, industrialists, secret societies, and even factions within his own government. He printed greenbacks, a form of money not controlled by central banks. He sought to limit the influence of European financiers, who had long wanted to control America's economy. By doing this, he created enemies far more dangerous than any assassin with a pistol. The official narrative tells us that Booth acted out of rage and loyalty to the South. But Booth was no ordinary actor. Came from a prominent family, had connections to secret circles, was known to mingle with Confederate agents, wealthy businessmen, and shadowy figures whose names never appeared in history books. Booth's supposed diary, partially recovered after his death, contained mysterious missing pages. Why were they removed? Who ordered the edits? Could it be because they revealed the names of powerful conspirators behind the curtain? Eyewitnesses from that night in Ford's Theater reported strange details that never made it into history books. Some claimed Booth wasn't alone. Others saw unusual men moving through the theater, almost as if they were guarding the escape route. The door to Lincoln's box had been tampered with before the president arrived, making it easier for Booth to slip inside. Was this luck or preparation? And what about the timing? On the very night Lincoln was murdered, several other high-ranking officials were targeted. Secretary of State William Seward was attacked in his own home. Vice President Andrew Johnson was marked as a target but mysteriously spared. Why attempt to decapitate the entire government at once? Because this was not the work of a lone madman, it was a coup. Johnson himself rose to power as president immediately after Lincoln's death. Historians often describe Johnson as weak, sympathetic to the South, and resistant to Lincoln's plans for Reconstruction. Isn't it strange that the man who benefited most from Lincoln's death was already positioned to take over? Some researchers suggest that Johnson may have known more than he admitted. Was he complicit, or merely a puppet in a larger game? But Johnson was not the only beneficiary. The international banking houses in Europe, particularly the Rothschilds, had long wanted to impose a central bank in the United States. Lincoln stood in their way. By issuing government-backed greenbacks, he weakened their hold. His death reopened the path for financial elites to tighten their grip on America. Could it be that Lincoln was eliminated to ensure the financial future of the nation served global interests rather than American independence? There are also whispers of secret societies operating in the shadows. The Knights of the Golden Circle, a clandestine pro-Southern group, were active during the Civil War. Some believe Booth was affiliated with them. Others point to Masonic lodges, where power brokers across North and South shared allegiances deeper than national loyalty. Lincoln himself warned that America's greatest threats came not from abroad, but from within secret enemies working in the dark. Consider also the strange fate of Booth himself. The official story says he was cornered in a barn in Virginia and shot dead, but numerous reports emerged claiming Booth escaped, living under false identities for decades. Some claimed he resurfaced in Texas, others in Oklahoma. If Booth was merely a pawn in a larger plot, wouldn't it make sense to protect him, or to silence him permanently? Which story do you believe, the neat, official version, or the chaotic trail of conflicting testimonies? Even more chilling is the symbolism surrounding Lincoln's death. He was shot on Good Friday, in a theater named after a man who had destroyed monarchy's John Ford. Lincoln had long been compared to Moses, leading his people to freedom. Was his death staged almost like a ritual sacrifice? meant to send a message to anyone who dared defy the hidden powers ruling from behind the curtain. The more you dig, the more you see that Lincoln's assassination fits a pattern. Powerful leaders who resist central banks, who defy secret societies, who try to return power to the people, they often meet violent ends. Think of John F. Kennedy, who also opposed a central banking monopoly. The parallels are too clear to ignore. Two presidents a century apart, both murdered under suspicious circumstances, both challenging financial elites and secretive networks. Coincidence or design? And what of Mary Todd Lincoln, the president's widow? She was quickly painted as unstable, grief-stricken, and eventually institutionalized. But Mary had claimed that powerful men plotted against her husband long before the fatal shot. Her warnings were dismissed as the ramblings of a troubled woman. But what if she was right? Was she silenced because she knew too much? The cover-up after the assassination was swift. Witnesses were ignored, documents disappeared, trials were rushed. 4 conspirators were executed, including Mary Surratt, the first woman ever executed by the U.S. government. But many believe she was innocent, framed to hide the true masterminds. Execute her so quickly, if not to close the book on uncomfortable questions. Over the decades, researchers and historians who dig too deeply into Lincoln's death have faced ridicule, marginalization, and suppression. Mainstream history insists the case is closed. But secrets this big don't vanish. They fester in the shadows, waiting for truth seekers to uncover them. The assassination of Abraham Lincoln was not simply a tragic event, it was a turning point. One that redirected the destiny of America under the control of hidden powers. When you connect the dots, the picture becomes undeniable. Lincoln's death was not random. It was necessary for those who wanted to control the future of America's money, politics, and global influence. Booth was the trigger, but not the mastermind. The true killers of Lincoln were men in suits, in secret lodges, and foreign banksmen whose names were scrubbed from history. And today, question remains. If they could eliminate a president as powerful and beloved as Abraham Lincoln, who else have they silenced? How many of our leaders are chosen not by the people, but by invisible hands pulling strings behind the scenes? How many tragedies in our history are not accidents, but carefully crafted operations designed to steer the world in a direction that serves their interests, not ours? So the next time you hear the story of Lincoln's assassination, remember that the neat little tale taught in schools is only the surface. Beneath it lies a web of money, power, and secret alliances, a web that still stretches into our present day. Our channel is focused 100% on stories like this, giving you valuable information that the media hides from you. Please, so you don't miss videos like this, subscribe to the channel and leave your like. It really helps our work.